here, I might turn off one of these. Does it make a difference on the camera if I do that?
No, it's fine.
All right, so make sure everything's put away. Pay attention. It's really, really, really good.
We ready? All right. Good morning. My name is Emilio Membreno. I'm come from El Salvador. It's a very small country in Central America, which is right there, almost not on the map. So that country is the same size as Massachusetts, which is one of the smallest states of this country. I left my country because there was a civil war going on, and it was killings everywhere. There was no way to survive it. Then I ended up here. But let me tell you roughly, and then a very, very small story to how I got here and why I did. I come from a very remote village in El Salvador, which is this village we do not have opportunities of almost anything, of nothing. So education is no way that we can get it. So in the 80s, early 80s, we started to organize each other and request important things to the government that every human being should have, like education, a medical system, drinking water, electricity, and freedom of speech. So the response of the government was repression, killing people, and they started with the leaders of the community first, and then there was just killing everybody in the community. So I survived a couple of massacres in El Salvador, and the last one I did was when I immigrated to Honduras. My family was 16 members, brothers and sisters. 5 of them got killed in the war. All my family was in the list of the death squad. So no matter where you go in the country, if they find your name on the list, that was the end of it. So one day, early in the morning, so we wake up with the shootings and all that. So the Salvadorian army was surrounded our community. And there was no way to escape. So after a couple of days being in that situation, they was killing everybody, destroying everybody. So we decided to leave and see if we can make it to Honduras. We were close to the border, and it's a river divided the two countries. And it's beside of the Missouri River. And there's a lot of dams in that river. So when they find out that we was crossing the river to Honduras, they opened the dam so the river was impossible to cross. The people who didn't know how to swim or barely swim got drowned. And the ones we can help people to cross and all that, we did that, but then we surrounded by the Salvadorian army, shooting us with helicopters, the other side with the Honduras army shooting us too. It was it was killing everybody. So until the international witnesses, like reporters and all that, got to the place, and they started filming the massacre. So that event made the Honduras army to retreat and let us pass. So we become the refugees in Honduras for the first time. And be so close to the border of El Salvador, the death squad with the army in El Salvador, they was constantly coming in and take the young people away from the refugee camp. And some of them, they was killed right at a short distance. Some of them, we haven't found them yet. And some of them, they appear in prisoners in El Salvador. So be it so difficult in that camp, the UN decided to move the refugee camp to more deeply in Honduras territory. But still, with the help of the Honduras army, the death squad in the army, Salvadorian army still managed to get there and capture the young people and kill them and do all this stuff. So being like that, did not say, we decided, me and some other guys, like 5 of us, decided they're gonna kill us here. Sooner or later, we're gonna be captured and kill us. So we decided to leave the refugee camp and go back to El Salvador, hoping there might be another place in El Salvador that we can survive. There may not be a war in that place. So the camp was surrounded by the Honduras army. So we said, well, we know what they are. So we passed that point. We're safe, so we can keep going. So we left at midnight. And we passed where we thought the soldiers were located, but they moved to a different spot at night. So we become across with them, and they start shooting us. So the guy was in front of me, dropped him on the floor. So I thought he was looking for cover, so I went down too and stayed with him. And then with the shooting slowed down a little bit, I told him, I said, let's get out, it's time to go. And I was moving and he wasn't responding, so and then I noticed he was dead. He just, at the first bullets come across the us, he died, so. Then I started running, I stumbled on another one who was there. So I said, I guess everybody's dead. So I started running alone. And I did not stop running until like around 5 or 6 in the morning. I was so tired that I had no more energy, so I fell asleep. And when I woke up, I couldn't move. My body was so sore and stiff that I said, boy, I don't have no energy. But then I feel like my shoes was wet, so I thinking I stepped on water or something, so I said I better dry my clothes so that could be a dry clothes. So when I lose my shoes, it was full of blood, and I said, oh, there's blood maybe from the other guy who died right next to me. No, when I was checking myself, I found that I did have a bullet in my leg. Good thing it did not touch any nerves or bones, so I wasn't disabled, so I was keep walking. That's why I survived leaving the place. So I was in that situation when I heard a little noise and dead leaves. I said, that's it, they found me. They're gonna kill me here. So I'm looking at what the noise coming. I know there was another guy, the ones we left the camp. Then we see each other. So he was so happy to see me. I was so happy to see him. And he was, all his clothes was full of blood. And I said, boy, he's got hurt too. And I said, what do they hurt you? And he said, no, this blood is from my cousin. I was carrying him on my shoulder, but he died, so I had to leave him at night. And left him and survived himself. So we decided to go back to El Salvador. There might be a place that we can survive. So we got there. We decided he's going to look for his family, I'm going to look for mine, so we went on different ways. So I did find some of the members of my family, and they was telling me where so-and-so brother and sister died, and it was spread out there. We didn't know where. They thought I was there. I was told they were there. So then they said, well, we're going to try to find a place to survive, but I don't think here in El Salvador is a place. So they were planning to leave the country, and I said, well, I'm going to leave too then. So I was 14 years old back then. So I left El Salvador. I went to Guatemala. I didn't know that Guatemala was going the same situation. It was a civil war too. It was a killings in there too. So I went to Mexico. And in Mexico, I was walking. I didn't have no money, nothing that I could use transportation. So I was walking when one night, we used the night to walk because the sun, it doesn't hurt you much, it's a night. So we surrounded by a bunch of guys with machetes. They told us to give everything, otherwise they were gonna kill us. So they took everything. The only thing left on me was a pair of pants. And I said, well, I just gonna keep going. And some people was helping me, giving me some clothes and all that. So I was picked up by the police in Mexico. And they hold me up for a couple of days. And then they brought me to the immigration in Mexico, and they hold me for about more than 50 days in a cell, like bigger than this, with the one toilet, one little sink. One day out of the week, they come in with a fire hose and hose down everything, and everybody's got wet and everything, so it was difficult to try to stay dry or sleep in a wet floor. So after those weeks, they deported me back to Guatemala. The Guatemala police put me in jail. And I was there for about 3 months. And then one police officer on Guatemala says to me, I'm gonna help you out to get out of here. I know, I understand your situation. You guys are here in jail for nothing. So he gave me some money, and he told me to go to Belize. Belize is a small country next to Guatemala. And, so Belize became a independent country in 1982. It used to be a part of England. So when I get there, they give me a 72 hours to leave the country. Belize is right there, the little nail right there. So, so after 72 hours, I went back to the police station. I said, I'm still here. I don't have a way to leave the country. I need to have make some money to buy clothes and some money to pay a transportation. So they gave me 2 more weeks. And those 2 weeks, I did find some little jobs, so I got clothes enough to I can get new clothes. So I decided to go back to Mexico in a different direction. Before I come through this way, so the second time I went through that way. So I'm in Mexico, I didn't have no money, so somebody suggested me the only way to travel in Mexico was jumping in a cargo train. So I did. So I didn't have no clue what direction that was going. So one time I find myself in the Pacific coast, another time in the Atlantic coast. I was like that for about 6 months in Mexico, traveling back and forth. One time, the train stopped. That was on the border of Mexico and the U.S., which is right about there, right over here. So, and everybody get off the train, because when the train stopped, everybody jump off, because 2 things. Either the train stopped down, it's not gonna go anymore, or the immigration stopped the train to get the people out of there. So I'm seeing the police cruiser chasing people, helicopters and all kinds of things on the other side of the fence. And I said to a guy, what's going on out there? Oh, that's the U.S. Those people wants to go across, and the immigration tried to stop them and send it back. So I went to the fence and looked the soil on the U.S. and the soil of Mexico. And I said, the soil's the same color. I was told in my country, the soil in this country, it was gold color. It was totally different. And I said, that's not different. It was the way they explained that, the type of life in this country. So I was a few days being there, wonder what should I do? Go back to El Salvador. They're gonna kill me. If I keep going to the U.S., I don't have a place to stay. I don't have nobody. Who's gonna help me out? I don't speak the language. But then I said, if I go back, I die. If I keep going, I might survive. So I crossed the border, and I started walking, and I went through the middle of the parking lot at the immigration building, and there was police cruisers coming in with detainees. They take them out of the car, bring them to the building, and I literally, sometimes I stop, let them pass, and nobody says to me, what are you going, who you are, nobody. I feel like I was invisible, and I sometimes, if you're a religion, then you will believe that God sometimes does do miracles. And that was a miracle right there, because they didn't saw me. Well, probably because I was so skinny that maybe I was hard to see. So I passed. In about 5 days being walking on a highway, I heard screamings on the side of the road, and looking around, I didn't see nobody. Then I see soldiers jumping into the highway, pointed their guns to me. And I looked around there and said, there's nobody else, just me. So I see more soldiers behind me on the side. And one of them told me in Spanish to lay down on the ground, face down, so I did. So one of them come in, put the gun on my head, the other one step on my back. The other one come in, put the handcuffs, and bring me to the trailer office right on the entrance of the military base. And they start asking me if I was a terrorist and what I was doing there. I said, how can I be a terrorist? I barely walking, and I haven't eaten for more than 5 days, drinking water, whatever I can find in a highway. how can I be a terrorist? So after that, a few days, they brought me to the police. A few hours, the police hold me for a few days, and then they brought me to immigration. I was in immigration for 6 months, and every day, the immigration comes to me, they say, you have to sign a deportation. You're not allowed to be in this country. You commit a crime coming to this country. I say, I didn't kill nobody. I say, I'm surviving the killings. How can I be commit a crime? They say, well, coming to this country with no legal papers, that's a crime. I said, well, well, in that case, you guys are gonna have to kill me here because I'm not going back to El Salvador. And then one day, we decided to go on a hunger strike to bring somebody's attention to help us out. So we decided not to eat. And the food wasn't good anyway because they give you powdered eggs in the morning, at noontime, at nighttime, the same sandwich all the time. There was nothing to lose there either way. So we were at the 8 days on hunger strike. I have the newspaper articles that event happened. So they come in at 5 o'clock in the morning, they open the door and they start telling us to get out. Some of the guys, they couldn't get out quick because they were, well, not eating, not drinking. They didn't have no energy. So they was kind of like in a small mood. So they start kicking them, and some of them ended up with broken ribs, broken teeth, and they brought us to a cell, what they call a la loba, which is a very tiny space. You only got a bed, and for 4 square foot, you can just stand up. You can sit, you can turn around, you just stand up. Either you lay down or stand up. And the only way to get out when they come in and take you out to go to the bathroom and then go back there. So that was a way to force us to sign the deportation. So finally, religious community on the area find out what was going on. So they got together and they forced the immigration to let them know what was going on. So they pay the bond to us to get out, to be released. Back then, my bond was $5,000, which is having nobody can help you out. That was a lot of money. If we compare the cost of living back then to now, that we talk about probably within $15,000 to $20,000, you have to come out with, out of nowhere. So that's how these people helped me out, get me out of the jail, and then they give me a ticket to San Francisco. I didn't have nobody, like I said. I was living in a shelter, in a junkyard, and abandoned cars and everything. So being like that, I found people, more refugee people from El Salvador. So I get in touch with them, and they help me out. They to find get to this civilization. And being like that, and I have a Jewish community in Boston, Massachusetts, who helped me out. They give me sanctuary, and they brought me to their synagogue, and I was living in their synagogue until I become legal. But before that, the immigration deported me 3 times. They get me out of the country because there was a way till they stopped the deportation almost at the end. The last deportation, I was already in a plane with the handcuffs on legs and arms and with a chain, both connected, both handcuffs. And the plane, it was already lined them out to the wrong way. When the police patrol approached the plane, opened the door, and they called my name, they took me out, and I said, I guess they're gonna kill me right here. So when I get to the door of the plane, they took the handcuffs, the chains and everything, they put me in the car, and they brought me back to the airport. And later on, the lawyer was there at the airport, and he told me, the Senator Ted Kennedy started his deportation, so he was a very powerful man. I think whatever he said, it was done in this country, what most of the time. So that's how I'm here. If I was deported back then, at that time, I would not be here talking to you guys because definitely all the people was deported from here to El Salvador. They was found dead right outside the airport or somewhere on the highway to the nearest city. So there they make it, didn't even to see the family. The family didn't even know they went back to El Salvador to get killed. So that's, I don't want to take all you guys' time, so that is the reason why I'm here. I didn't choose to become in this country. It's just looking for a place to survive, and I'm here. And like I said, not having that opportunity of being educated, it was hard to survive in this country. But I learned how to read and write Spanish and in English a little bit. I apologize for my broken English, but I tried. And I'm here. I become they give me a refugee status first, and then I become a citizen. And that's why I'm still here. And then I suggest you guys highly recommend it to stay in school, because on these days, if you don't have that paper that you pass all the levels of school, you don't get a job. Because I've been through that. I go in to apply to a job, and the first thing they ask me, what is my education? I'm honest. I say, I don't have it. They say, well, there's no job for you. So, good thing back then, in the 80s, and in 1990, well, close to 1991, Sears support my political asylum, and they told the immigration, they wrote a letter, say, if he become legal, we have a job for him. So I've been working for Sears since then, and I'm still with them. And I was in Boston, Massachusetts, and I moved from Boston to Iowa, and I'm here. And then, like I said, if you do the right thing, you can get anything you want if you do the right thing. We own a few properties, including our house where we live on it, and then with, like I said, if I did have the chance of being educated, I'd probably be a teacher, teaching you guys. But I don't have that chance. So, like I said, Mr. Edison, he was so smart guy back then. If he was looking for a job now, he will have a hard time because he didn't have all the educational level. But he was a smart guy. Thanks to him, we got lights. But that was back then. The smart back then was working, but not today. Same school. All right. If you guys have any question, if I tell all my story, we need a month to finish. I don't want to go too deep, but I want to give you a chance.
We got about 3 minutes, I think.
All right.
You're at 8. If you guys have any questions about anything, Paris?
Do you have any living family from them that you are?
Well, I did. When I applied when they gave me the political asylum, I have a choice to to request my family to come over here. So they tried to find my family. They only found 2 brothers and a sister. The rest of it, we didn't find it, so we assumed they were dead. So they come here. But then when the war stopped, in El Salvador, they decided to go back because they didn't like here, because first of all, the culture is different, everything's different, and you get really homesick. So they couldn't handle it, so as soon as the war stopped, they left. And and they still there, and I've been twice back to El Salvador, and it's not safe. It's still not safe to live down there. So they went back.
Good question. Anyone else have any questions? Uriel?
My mom said that it was a long time ago easy to cross the border.
Maybe, but when I tried, it was not easy. Well, because back then it was people leaving their homes, their hometowns for like Guatemala, Nicaragua, El Salvador, and I guess right now it's difficult too. It's like in my country, the gangs groups down there are so bad, they killing everybody. So especially the young people are leaving the country because they don't want to join them. So that's another, I almost like I said, Holocaust, because everybody's trying to leave and survive, abandon everything, and it's really hard to see children with 7 to 15 or of that young age leaving everything, family members, and just to try to survive.
When you were on the cargo ship, did you not eat for a whole 6 months?
Well, people help you out when the trains stop and everything, or you get off the train. So there is good people everywhere. So we ask for food, and they always give us the food, and that's how we survive. Or I get out and I always offer them to do any kind of work for them so they can either feed me or give me some money and buy food. So that's how I
They
survive.
didn't check with the people.
Well, it's just like, let's see you walking on highways in this state and then all of a sudden you ask a person for a ride or for food. Somebody will give you a ride or will give you money or food, just like that. Yes. Yes.
How many years did it take you to live peacefully here?
Oh, I would say how many years to get used to this system? Not yet. I'm still missing my home country. I think that will never go away from you. You still are homesick. You still missing, no matter how many years. I don't know if it's anybody will change those feelings, but in my case, they still there. I wish I can go back to my country and be with my relatives and everything.
How many brothers and sisters did you have?
16 brothers and sisters, and we lost 5 of them. Yes. All killed by that squad. You have questions? No? Yes?
Was that bullet wound on the leg?
No, right here. Just did not touch any nerves or bones, so that's why I was able to keep walking. And when you're afraid, you don't feel nothing. I didn't feel anything until the next day that I found out. I didn't feel a thing that I was, but no. I mean, the fear to lose your life is so strong that you probably could lose a limb or something, you still don't feel it. Because I think the scare to be dead is indescribable.
Emilio, where is your wife from?
El Salvador too.
She is. Okay.
Yes. When I went to the first time to El Salvador, I met her and then we come to know each other. Then she come to this country and then she's a U.S. citizen too.
Was she able to come back easily? Were you guys married? Is that why she was able to come back? or-
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. That's another process. You want to marry to a person out of the country, so you apply for the special visa. They call it a fiancé visa. So the person comes in, you have certain time to decide if you will get married or not. And if you decided not to, that person has to go back.
My cousin decided to get married, and he got the papers now.
That's good. Well, the system works when they make it work. But right now, probably you guys don't know deeply with the immigration system. Right now, it's a broken system. They need to fix it. And they are debating to get it fixed, but they're not doing anything. And they just blame to each other. No, it's your fault, it's your fault. So, and in the meantime, the people suffer and things don't get done right.
I was wrong, we had more time than what I thought.
Oh.
I thought it ended at 18 hours, but we still have 7 more minutes.
All right. So, well, one of the things is, I don't know if you guys heard the richest country in Europe, is the smallest country in Europe. I think they call it Swiss or Switzerland, something like that. El Salvador is the smallest country in Central America. This country was using $2 million a day in that country for 12 years. And the excuse was that money was to help the people in El Salvador. And we only about 6 million of population. So if it's all that money, it was going to help the people in El Salvador, will be the second country, if it's not the first country, the richest country in the world. With all that money, with 6 million people for 12 years, that's a lot of money. And what the money went? To kill people, destroy the country, and for 12 years. And now we literally was pushed back to the Stone Age. So the reconstruct or rebuild the country again is taking forever. Plus, and now with the gangs down there, killing people, destroying what was left It's not good, that's not good.
Still?
Now it's just gangsters. Well, there was the border for here. It was easy for them to get money here, not down there. So down there, they bribe you. If you don't have money, they kill you. Or they give you ransom money. They say, well, you got to pay us monthly this much. If you don't, they kill you. Or you don't have a choice, either pay or leave the country or let them kill you. Yes. That's how. It's almost looking like the war again, but different. Before it was the army chasing you, now it's the gangsters chasing you. That's why so many children leaving the country, because they don't want to join them. If they don't want to join them, they kill them. They go to school and grab you from the classrooms. If you refuse, either they kill you in the classroom. Yes.
How long have you lived in Sioux City?
We moved here to Sioux City in 2004.
And before that, you,
I was in Boston, Massachusetts.
the whole time? Yeah?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. So my wife got a cousin here, and he told her the wonderful stories of Iowa. So we said, all right, let's go to Iowa. And this state, almost similar to my country, laid back, like a more country people. The city's not that big, so it's more laid back. Boston, Massachusetts, a huge metropolis, you can get lost and have a hard time to get out of there. So we come here, and then we've been here since 2004. Yes, sir.
Did you ever find your friend?
The ones who survived? No.
No, like the one that walked back with you and then you're like, let's go get our families?
Yeah, that one, no.
No.
No, I never come across them again. But we did find the rest of the family later on. Some of them, they were on Cuba, Honduras, Nicaragua, and Costa Rica. So when the war stopped, they all started to come back to El Salvador. Yeah.
How long did it take you to become a citizen once you got the ability to live here?
Well, since Mr. Ted Kennedy stopped the deportation, we re-appealed the case to the immigration court, and I became a refugee on 1998, and then at the same time I started working for Sears, and then I became eligible to be a citizen, so I became a citizen, then and I think I became a citizen in 2001. Yes. Yeah, I think you have to stay 10 years as a resident. If you're a political sign, if you apply for a political sign, back then it was 10 years. You had to be as just a resident. But if you, the laws changed a lot. Now either they give you a short time or more time, depending what's your case. Yes.
Any more questions? I think we are getting closer on out of time, so thanks a lot. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. And you guys have been so nice. You made and pay attention to what